Hi, I'm Michael Causey, Editor-in-Chief of the Association of Clinical Research Professionals. Thanks for joining us today for our segment, Three Questions With, where we speak with thought leaders in the clinical trial industry, talk to them about the past, present, and the future issues most pressing in clinical trials. We're here with John Neal. He's the immediate past chair of ACRP's Board of Trustees. He's a longtime friend to ACRP, frequent contributor with our blogs. He's also founder and chairman of the PCRS Network, and just been a great help to me as a source for many, many years. John, I want to thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Three questions. So I want to talk to you. You're a thought leader. You've written a lot about predictions about the industry, and you're a bit of a historian of clinical trials. What's the biggest change you've seen in the last couple years in this industry?
Over the last couple of years, the biggest having the most impact, I think, has been the level of mergers and acquisitions that have taken place throughout the industry. Obviously, we've seen at the CRO level, we've seen IRBs. Also, though, we've seen with the sponsor community out there, the pharmaceutical companies, who are all working to try to expand their portfolios and to position themselves to have robust portfolios of new drugs, new therapies coming onto the market in the years to come.
So with the mergers and acquisition activity, obviously that does have a huge impact and will continue to. Looking ahead, if that's a big impact of the last couple of years, what's a big thing you see coming in clinical trials, say in the next couple of years?
Well, probably the biggest that I see coming is the way that studies are actually conducted. We're going to see a lot more use of virtual visits, some of them including some of the virtual technologies that are out there, some of the video technologies, etc. Certainly remote collection of data, including data off of devices, watches, phones, etc. But also the inclusion of primary care physicians, for example, or specialists who have patients available to them on a geographic basis that typically wouldn't have participated in clinical research in the past. So incorporating those in some cases even as sub-Is, where they may only have one patient that's going to participate in a study, but to a study that is difficult to enroll, that's looking for very small numbers of patients, those can be critical to the studies. And so being in a position to incorporate those sorts of physicians and their patients as volunteers in the studies will become more and more critical as we get into to more exotic kinds of therapies,
right,
if you want to look at it that way.
And that'll also address, as you know, diversity in clinical trials has been a
Absolutely.
challenge in this industry, with wanting to have more representative populations, and presumably that could help.
Well, absolutely. When you look particularly at some of the minority communities where historically there may have been a mistrust or distrust,
Right.
If their physician is the one who's part of the conduct of the studies, the likelihood of those folks participating is a lot higher.
Now, Three Questions here is presented by ACRP. So my final question to you, I want to talk to you or ask you about what you see as ACRP's role, and the members specifically, in affecting positive change in clinical trials going forward. Is there a single biggest issue or two you think we as a group should be looking at?
Well, I think one of the biggest issues is making training available to people in ways that are more effective and easier for them, which we've done and continue to do. The amount of online content that we have available is continuing to grow, really making it easier for people to do their learning really at their pace, in ways that are comfortable for them. So, being able to take place or participate in some of the online forums, the e-learning programs, all of those allow for that and allow for support of people who otherwise might not have participated in clinical research or seen themselves as playing a role in clinical research, now having available to them educational materials and pathways to certification if they choose.
Interesting, lots of stuff to chew on. John, I want to thank you for joining us. We've
Yeah,
been
you're
speaking
welcome.
with
Thank
John Neal. He's the immediate past chair of ACRP's Board of Trustees. He's also the founder and chairman of the PCRS Network. John, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Very much.
Take care.